All right, let's solve a little mystery together, shall we? We're going to crack the case of the dormant damp. You know, that invisible intruder that shows up in our bedrooms and leaves a mark when we're least expecting it? So let's start digging.
And this quote? This is our central clue. It just nails the whole problem, doesn't it? The moisture is hiding plain sight, completely invisible, until all of a sudden it's not. So how does this stuff even get in there? And what's it doing while we're fast asleep?
That's the real question, isn't it? To figure this out, we need to understand our culprit, its methods, and its favorite hiding spots. Our investigation officially starts right now.
Okay, first things first, we've got to identify this invisible intruder. I mean, where's all this moisture coming from anyway? Well, the answer is a lot closer than you probably think.
That's right, the call is coming from inside the house. It's us. We are the source. Every single night, we're just lying there, quietly breathing out about a pint of water vapor. A pint! And in a room with the door closed and the windows shut, that moisture has absolutely nowhere to go. We've just found our prime suspect.
So, we've got our suspect. Now, let's look at the MO, the method of operation. How does this invisible water vapor that we're breathing out turn into a visible, sometimes destructive problem? It all comes down to a really simple process: condensation.
Condensation. It sounds scientific, but it's actually super simple. All it means is that when the warm, moist air from our breath hits a colder surface, it turns back into liquid water. Let's follow the evidence trail.
So it all starts with us, just breathing. All night long, we're filling the room with this warm, humid air. And that air is basically the fuel for this whole operation. Now, this moisture-packed air doesn't just sit still. No, it moves around the room. And it's almost like it's on a mission, searching for the coldest spot it can find, which is usually an external wall, a window, or some poorly insulated corner. And boom, here's the final act. When that warm, humid air hits that cold surface, it cools down, like, instantly. And here's the thing. Cold air just can't hold as much moisture as warm air can, so it has to drop its load. That invisible vapor becomes visible water droplets, leaving behind the telltale evidence: dampness, and if you leave it, eventually mold. Case closed. You know, every good detective knows that culprits have patterns. They tend to return to the same places over and over. So let's profile the most common crime scenes for condensation in your bedroom. Where's this evidence most likely to show up?
Okay, so where should you be looking for clues? Definitely check behind big furniture, like wardrobes, especially if they're on an outside wall. Look in those cold corners and around your windows. These are the classic hiding spots because they've got the perfect combo: not much airflow and a nice cold surface. And this slide shows you exactly why those spots are so risky. When you push furniture right up against an outside wall, you're literally trapping that humid air. But if you just leave a little gap, doesn't have to be much, the air can circulate, which helps keep that wall surface warmer and, more importantly, drier. Remember this: airflow is your #1 weapon in this fight. So, we've cracked the case. We know the culprit, we know the method, and we know the hiding spots. Now it's time to go on the offensive. Here's your simple playbook for stopping dormant damp dead in its tracks. Here it is, your 4-step defense strategy. Number 1, create that air gap behind your furniture. Honestly, it's the easiest win you'll get. 2, heat your room consistently. A steady, low background heat is way better than short, hot blasts because it keeps the walls themselves from getting cold. 3, ventilate. Crack a window, use trickle vents, just let that moist air escape. And 4, keep an eye on your indoor humidity. This simple playbook puts you back in control. You know, this really is the key takeaway. It's a total mindset shift. Once you stop thinking of your bedroom as just a place to sleep and start seeing it for what it really is, a quiet moisture factory, your whole approach changes. You start to manage it, just like you would any other system in your house. And that leaves us with one final thought. We've uncovered this invisible force of damp, but it makes you wonder, right? What other unseen things are quietly shaping our homes and our lives every single day? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for digging into this with me.